Sir,
I
I
will.
didn't ask you about any of that. I asked you if you
I
understand
will, however,
Mr. Matson, don't interrupt me. I've muted Mr. Matson's device because he continues to interrupt me and not let me finish what I'm saying.
let me speak to.
I've muted Mr. Matson again because he unmuted himself and interrupted me.
All right, folks, buckle up, because this one right here is textbook sovereign citizen nonsense, and it only gets worse the more this guy talks. From the second he opened his mouth, you could tell we weren't in for a normal hearing. He starts, rambling about being a living soul, tossing in half-baked legal jargon like he just got done reading the back of a cereal box that morning. The judge, though? Calm, collected, and already tired of the circus. He asks one simple question. Are you David Glenn Thompson? Yes or no? That's it. Just say yes, confirm your name, and move.
I am required to advise you at all stages of the proceeding that you do have a right to be represented by an attorney, and if you can't afford an attorney, the court will appoint one for you at public expense. Do you understand that?
I don't think you'd be violating your oath of office, Your Honor, by allowing me to the right to a fighting clause.
Sir, I didn't ask you about any of that. I asked you if you understand.
I will, however,
Mr. Matson, don't interrupt me. The question I asked you is whether you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney.
I do understand I have a right to be represented by an attorney or not. Yes, sir.
Okay. You've previously waived that right. As I said, I have to advise you that at every stage of the hearing. So I have to ask you again, would you like to be represented by an attorney at this point?
As I started to say, Your Honor, I don't want the representation. However, I will use the help of handling paperwork due to my means here and having access to certain things in paperwork. I will use your court-appointed attorneys just to help with some paperwork.
Okay, so you don't have a right to have the public defender's office do your paperwork or handle any of that. You have the right to have them represent you or not represent you. So that is your choice.
Not represent me, that's fine then.
All right. So you've previously been arraigned on the probation violation. Do you know how you want to proceed? So your options are you can plead to it if you want, which means you'd be admitting guilt. The other option is that I can set it for a hearing and we can have a hearing on the matter, and then I'll decide based on the evidence submitted at that hearing.
Your Honor, all due respect, I wish, are you working under oath of office today, sir?
Sir, I'm not going to answer these questions or deal with this. We've dealt with you before and your sovereign citizen arguments. I've rejected them all.
Citizen.
Sir, do not interrupt me. Do you want to have a hearing or do you want to plead?
I'll take your silence under your oath, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you want to have a hearing or do you want to plead?
I want the hearing. I want to go to trial. I want to go within the 90 days to a trial or sooner.
All right. So Sierra will need about a 1-hour hearing on a probation violation.
As well as I'd like you to have the arresting officers that arrested me on that day. I would like their sergeant to be dressed in uniform and at that trial on that day as well, please.
Vaughn. But of course, Mr. Living Soul can't give a straight answer. Instead, he throws out, I feel coerced right now. Coerced? Buddy, you're not being asked to sign away your freedom. You're being asked if that's your name. And here's where it gets good. The judge drops the word bench warrant into the conversation, and instantly, this guy's entire tough guy sovereign citizen act evaporates. It's like flipping a switch. 1 second, he's standing firm with all his I'm a soul, not a person nonsense, and the next, he's stammering out a panicked, yes, yes, sure, sure. You could almost see the fear wash over him. Now here's the thing about bench warrants. They're not just fancy legal words. They mean game over. The judge is basically saying, Play your little game all you want, but if you don't take this seriously, I'll make sure you're picked up and brought here the hard way. And let me tell you, sovereign citizens always fold the second. Jail time becomes real.
All right, I think it will go more smoothly if you are here in person, so we will have you in person here from the jail.
All right, exactly what the hearing is going to be on that day?
So you've been charged with a violation of the terms of your probation.
Yeah.
For failing to report. So the hearing is going to be to determine whether or not you failed to report.
Okay, so it's going to be the trial that day.
Correct.
Okay, can I have the state police sergeant there at that trial?
What state police sergeant?
The state police sergeant of the arresting officers on the night of my arrest.
Who are the arresting officers?
I don't remember the exact names, but any state police sergeant in uniform would do.
Why do you want any state police sergeant to be present at the trial?
Just to show how arrests are made, and why they're made, and how they do the determination, how they bring people into jail.
Well, how is any of that relevant to whether or not you violated the terms of probation?
I believe there's a lot of relevancy there. I don't see where any of it's going to affect the courts in any way, shape, or form.
All right. So the issue that the court is going to determine has nothing to do with things that happened during your arrest. The issue is whether or not.
It's not about the arrest. It's about the arrest for the violation of probation as well.
All right. The only issue before the court that day is going to be whether or not you reported. So your arrest doesn't have any relevancy to that. So I'm not going to.
I beg to differ, Your Honor. I beg to differ because the jury is going to be a jury of my peers, and at this time,
sir,
you're not going to have a jury of my peers.
Sir, there's not going to be any jury. You're not entitled to a jury trial on a hearing about violating your probation.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I'm pretty sure that last time I spoke to you, you said that I had the right to a jury trial for determining if I was guilty for a violation of probation.
I've never seen you on this violation of probation.
I've seen you, or I've seen you just the other day, last week.
No, you didn't. A different judge conducted that hearing.
You're Michael Olsaver, aren't you? There was Judge Sloan, and then there was you. I've seen both.
You did not see me last week.
I did.
And so you're not entitled to a jury trial on a probation violation. So again, we will have you back in person on.
Well, hold up then. So if I'm not entitled to a trial to determine if I'm guilty or not, this is a criminal court, isn't it?
It's a criminal court where you have already pled guilty to a felony and been placed on probation.
Because I was at risk of dying in this.
I've muted Mr. Matson's device because he continues to interrupt me and not let me finish what I'm saying. Mr. Matson, I was saying that this is a criminal court wherein you have pled guilty to possessing a controlled substance, and you were placed on probation. As a result of that, your sentence was to be placed on probation. Subsequent to being sentenced to probation, there was an allegation that you failed to report in accordance with the terms of your probation. That is an alleged violation of probation. There's no right to a jury trial for a violation of probation, so the court will conduct. Let
me speak to.
I've muted Mr. Matson again because he unmuted himself and interrupted me. We will have you back on April 8th at 3:30, Mr. Matson. This hearing is concluded.
The judge lays it out plain as day. If Mr. Thompson keeps with the ridiculous answers, he's getting muted or removed. And honestly, that's exactly what should happen. The courtroom isn't a stage for conspiracy theories, and this judge isn't playing. Then we get to the meat of it: child support. Mr. Thompson's in court because he hasn't been paying, plain and simple. The bond he posted? The court's ready to scoop it up and put it toward what he owes. And let's be real here. His friend, who supposedly fronted that bond money, they can kiss it goodbye. Once that bond's on the table in a child support case, it's not coming back, and here's what kills me. Sovereign citizens love to scream about how the government can't take their money, but when their friends step in with actual U.S. currency, suddenly the system is unfair when it uses it against them. I mean, did this friend really think helping out a guy who doesn't believe in the law was going to end well? But Mr. Thompson can't stop himself. Instead of facing the issue head-on, he drags the conversation off into outer space, babbling about resolutions, bankruptcy laws, and some magical promissory note he claims to have mailed back in 2017. 20,000 gold dollars, he says. Gold dollars? What is this, a pirate's treasure chest? By this point, the judge has had enough. He hits mute, and honestly, I don't blame him, because every time Mr. Thompson opens his mouth, the case gets further away from reality. The judge explains it as clearly as possible. This is a child support case. The order's been in place since 2017, and the man owes thousands. Period. But instead of acknowledging that, Mr. Thompson clings to his paper props and sovereign citizen. Scripts like they're going to magically erase $14,833 in unpaid support. And watching him flounder as the judge patiently swats down each claim, it's a mix of hilarious and sad. And folks, we're only halfway through this meltdown. So now we've reached the point where the judge has laid everything out. The arrears, the bond, the outstanding child support, all crystal clear. And what does Mr. Thompson do with this moment? Does he finally accept reality? Of course not. He launches into yet another rant, trying to convince the court that none of this is legitimate. He claims it's not a real Article 3 court, waves around paperwork nobody cares about, and even brings up some mythical contract that apparently cancels out his obligations. Folks, at this point, it's almost comical. He's basically telling the judge, none of this applies to me because I don't believe it does. That's like telling the IRS you don't owe taxes because you never agreed to the Constitution. It doesn't work that way. And here's what's really telling. The judge, who has been unbelievably patient, up to this point finally draws the line. He makes it clear that everyone has the right to be heard, but that right doesn't include hijacking the hearing with nonsense. If you can't stick to facts and reality, the court simply won't waste its time. So the final ruling comes down. The bond money is forfeited and applied straight to the overdue child support. The case gets referred to a referee to monitor his payments going forward. And the judge, he keeps jurisdiction, making it very clear that if Mr. Thompson tries to pull this again, the court will be right there waiting. Mr. Thompson, who spent the entire hearing puffing his chest about being a living soul, suddenly goes quiet. No more arguments, no more grand theories, just a defeated, no questions, sir. The bravado is gone and reality has smacked him right across the face. And I've got to say, this whole performance is a perfect example of why these sovereign citizen stunts never work. They think they've found loopholes, but all they really do is dig themselves deeper. Judges have seen it all before, and when the smoke clears, these people are left with the same problem they started with. Unpaid support, outstanding arrears, and now even less money in their pockets. Watching this guy wave invisible laws around like they were magic shields was almost painful. And the fact that he never once showed his face on camera, that just added to the whole circus vibe. If you believe so strongly in your truth, why hide? My guess is, even he knew deep down this wasn't going to end well. At the end of the day, this wasn't a sovereign citizen victory, it was a sovereign citizen crash and burn. And honestly, the only thing scarier than watching one of these cases is realizing how many of them keep trying the same failed strategy over and over again. But that's what makes these moments so revealing. For all their talk about being above the law, the second a bench warrant or jail time gets mentioned, it all collapses. Sovereign citizens aren't special. They're just ordinary people trying to escape responsibility. So what do you think? Was Mr. Thompson just delusional? Or was this a calculated act to stall paying what he owed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy watching these courtroom illusions crumble under real-world pressure, make sure to like and subscribe for more cases just like this. Because trust me, this won't be the last time a sovereign citizen walks into court thinking they've outsmarted the system and walks out with nothing but a bill and a bruised ego.